G'day all, welcome to a new week in our bus build. This week we're going to try and remove this window here, and we're going to install some auto paneling to that to cover it up. The reason behind that is there's going to be a shower room and toilet here which will block off seeing from the front through to the back, so these windows are redundant, they're not going to be using anything, so we're going to cover it up, and that way we can insulate it and try and keep some of the heat out as well. That's what we're doing today. We're going to try and get this out. Now, I've never done this before. I've watched some YouTube videos on it. Fingers crossed I can get it out without cutting myself or hurting myself. I'm going to crack on and see if I can do it. What I can see is I've got to pull this back. It's the rubber that's keeping the window in all the way around, and the actual window is sitting in another rubber section of this at the front. So if I can ply this off around the edges here without breaking the window, hopefully it'll pop out and I won't drop it on the ground being by myself. Sit back and enjoy, and you might get a few laughs of me hurting myself. Okay, it seems to be working. I've been able to get it along the top. I've started down the side. I'm going to go down to the bottom here, and then I'm going to go out and see whether I can pull it out from outside before I do any of these. I've also put some tape on there just in case it decides to pop out. That might not hold it, it might. I'm going to put some over the other side once I get down a little bit more and see how it goes. So fingers crossed it doesn't go plummeting to the driveway and break everywhere. Alright, doing this by yourself is a bit of a challenge. As you can see, I've got across the top done. I've got down basically all the way to the bottom sill. I've just got to do that little bit, and I've also done this bit. Now, being by yourself, if you want to put this piece of glass back in, you've got to make sure you don't break it, of course. So that's why I've got the tape there. This is very hopeful that it doesn't pop out and go crashing to the ground. So I've got to use what I've got. I'm going to get down to the bottom on either side, and then I'm going to go outside and see if I can pull it out that way. Oh guys, that came out really easy. All I did was lift it up. You'll probably see it in the time lapse, but she is all out now. And I didn't even break the glass. There's the glass out, not broken, which I'm quite impressed with. Alright, so now I'm going to give it a good clean up. Okay, I've cleaned up all the silicone and crap that was on the side of the window, also around the outside. It's done. Just going to put a bit of rust converter on some of these bits just down here and hit them with some primer. And I'm going to measure up now for the template for the metal that's going on there. As with my other templates, I used the window and placed it flat down and traced around it on the cardboard, and then I cut it out, and that wasn't too bad, but then I had to make sure it fit alright. Well, that was a long-winded process, lots of trial and error, taking it up, putting it against the window, coming back and trimming it, and finally got it where it has fit snugly into the area. So that's my template that I'm going to use to cut the metal out. Now, even though it looks sunny, there's some clouds on the way, so I've taped it up. So I forgot to take a video with it in there, but I'll do that when I untape this, when I've got the metal ready to go. So that's all taped up for the time being, just in case it rains. Having made the template, now I get to cut out the template onto the metal sheeting. I'll put all the details of the sheeting below, so you can have a look if you're in Brisbane, where I got it from. Now I'm going to trace it out, and I'm going to use an angle grinder and cut it out. I've cut it out. I've still got to do the little corner bits and then smooth off all the edges, and I'm going to sand it all down, and then I can start to paint it. This is a finished cut of metal. Okay, you can see a little bit that it's a little bit smaller on some of them, which is fine because the cardboard template was really tight, so having a little bit free in some spots will be fine. And now what I'm going to do is sand it all, give it a good clean up, and then it's undercoat time. I'm using Etch Primer for the first coat, first two actually, and then I've got colour match for the wide of the bus. So I've got to shake it vigorously for 3 minutes to 5 minutes, so that's what I'm doing now. So the primer coat's done on both sides. Showing a bit blue on here, it's actually grey, so it's a grey undercoat. It's from Super Cheap Auto, it's just their generic brand, and it seems to work fine. It's given me good coverage on both sides. I've done the edges as well. So now I'll leave that overnight, I'd say, let it cure off, and then we'll do the white tomorrow, so then it'll be ready to go up on the bus. Right guys, this is the first coat of the white paint on there. It's come up alright except for 2 silly bugs. They flew on there, just there and just there, so I'm going to have to sand them back again and just touch them up again before I do the next coat, which is a bit of a pain. Anyway, it's going to dry overnight, and we'll get back into it in the morning. that's all the coats of the white on there now. It's looking pretty good. I'm just about to put the clear coat on. So I've got to put a couple of those on. This is what I'm using. Got it from Supercheap. They tinted it to the colour of the bus, and now I'm just about to put the clear coat on. Once again, this is from Supercheap. This clear coat puts a gloss on it. This is the clear coat put on. It's a bit of a pain when you don't have a dust-free environment, because unfortunately little bugs and dust particles fly on everything, so I've already had to sand back a couple of times and redo. I'm hoping I've got one more coat of the clear coat to do, and then I'll be able to let it dry and then go and put it up on the bus. So fingers crossed that it will look alright. I had it all undone and I started to do the rust proofing and the painting over that, and a huge storm decides to roll in, so it's just about to take a dump, I think. So I'm closing up shop and call it a day and try again tomorrow. Cleaned around the lip now just to make sure there's no grease or crap on the edge, so the Sikaflex can grab nice and tight. Now I'm going to Sikaflex it. I'm using Sikaflex 252. It's white. Also, make sure you check the date on this. Now this date is this, so it's just past, so I'm hoping that it'll be alright. So we'll see how we go. Okay, it's in. If you've ever worked with Sikaflex 252, it is hard to get out of the tube and it starts to go off pretty quick. It's not pretty at all. At all. I'm not happy with how it's gone on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cure. I'm going to let it cure, and then I'm going to clean it up as much as I can, and then I'm going to put a bit of more silicone on to the top to make sure it's sealed properly, and we'll test it as well. If we have a look inside, not great at all, but this part you're not going to see. This will be covered by insulation anyway, so this is not a big drama. The main concern is make sure it is watertight. Alright, I've cleaned up around the edges and it is looking better. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape down the sides here and also inside here. I'm going to get more silicone or Sikaflex or something, and I'm going to apply it down the middle and give it a nice edge on it all the way around. I can then pull off the tape and have nice clean edges, and this should be all nice and smooth inside here as well. So that's probably tomorrow's job, but she's in, she's solid. Haven't tested whether it's leak proof, but once I finished all the silicone of it, then we'll check it once it's dry to make sure it's watertight. Inside, I'm also going to run silicone around the edges here, up along the top here, just to make sure that everything's nice and covered. As I said, doesn't matter so much in here because you're never going to see it anyway. as long as it's watertight. Okay, so I've taped it around now, and I'm going to use Sikaflex to neaten it all up. It's a bit wider than what I was hoping to be, but as long as it looks neater than this, that'll be fine. And then on the next lot of windows, I'll put the tape on first so this won't happen. For this I'm using Sikaflex Pro Plus sealant. This is outside, and it's also very elastic, and it's a good sealer, they say, so that's what I'm going to use. G'day guys, thought I'd give you a look at what I've finished. I'm not happy with it at all. It's pretty bad actually. What do you think? I'm actually, when it dries and when it's a bit more of a sunny day, I'm gonna rip it all out, the last bit I did, and then redo it because I'm not happy with it at all. So here it is. It's way too big and too crappy. It'll keep it watertight, but I'm just not happy with the way it looks, so I'm going to scrape it all back and just put a bead down right in the corner again properly. So it's going to be I'm going to let it dry completely so it'll come off a bit easier, but not happy, Jan. Alright guys, well that'll do it for the week. We're just about to get another storm. By the looks of it, it was sunny when I started this morning, no clouds. Well, there were some clouds, but not much. So it looks like we're going to get a storm, but this one's hardened off already. Well, most of it. But, yeah, so not happy. Anyway, I'm happy with the panel itself. That's come up really well. I'm just not happy with the silicone around the end of it. So it's an easy fix because I just got to pull it out and do it again, but it's just a pain in the butt. Anyway guys, I hope you have a good week. I hope your build's going well. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications and like this video as well. Alright guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye.